I've got really good news for you. You don't have to be perfect. So if the thing that's holding you back is that you feel like you can't be perfect at something or whatever reason, you don't have to be perfect to create a course. You don't have to be perfect to go live on video. I'm a walking example of that. You don't have to be perfect to run a 90-minute Q&A call. You don't have to be perfect to write content. You don't have to be perfect to sell stuff successfully. You don't, and so many more things. You don't have to have perfect hair and and makeup. You don't have to be able to talk without coughing. You don't have to have perfect camera and lighting. You don't have to have perfect answers to every question that's ever asked of you. You don't have to have perfect English. You don't have to have an unaccented English. I see this all the time. People who have English as a second language. Oh, I can never teach a course or do something because my English isn't perfect. And it's like, well, I totally understand you. Don't worry about it, okay? You don't have to look gorgeous. Again, walking example. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have an expensive car that you can sit on to film a video. You don't have to have the perfect video set. You don't have to have a perfect family or a perfect body or a perfect anything. I could literally go on and on. Have I made my point? Okay, so let's talk about, if you are not perfect, let's talk about several principles that will help you in this process, because none of us are. Number one, you will make mistakes. That's life. You will make mistakes. May I suggest very strongly that you learn to laugh them off. Here's what happens. Those of you who follow me a few times have seen me drop cards or have seen me stumble over words. Have seen me cough, sneeze, all kinds of different things. And what you do is you just laugh it off. Make a little bit of fun about yourself. Here's what I find. When you do that, people appreciate the fact that you just did it. Everyone realizes that no one's perfect and that they, in that same situation, would probably make some of these same mistakes. And what ends up happening is when you laugh it off, make fun of yourself, when you do something like this, people tend to be more patient with you when you do laugh it off. They're laughing too, probably. Plus, they actually get more comfortable with you because they know they don't have to be perfect around you. How many times have you ever, not wanted to approach someone who is absolutely perfect because you're afraid that you won't be perfect and they will look down upon you? Well, when people know that you're not perfect and that you laugh at yourself, it makes you more approachable. And so they are willing to come and talk to you because they know you're not going to look down upon them as a result. Okay, second principle. In spite of the fact you can't be perfect, do the best that you can to a point. Okay, so there's a difference between perfect and perfectionism. There's a perfect difference between good enough and perfectionism. You should try the best you can to, do things like look good, comb your hair, make sure you haven't got green stuff in your teeth, try to make sure everything is running as smooth as possible so that you're not constantly having to apologize and even make fun of yourself. But then don't let it hold you back if you can't get quite to perfection. Okay? In other words, try, but don't not do it because you're not perfect. Number three, this process is the foundation of continual improvement. So if I do a webinar and I make 4 mistakes in that webinar, and 2 of those are ones that I could easily correct for my next webinar, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to correct those for my next webinar. So this slide had a typo in it. I'm going to fix that. I couldn't get my downward facing camera to work. Well, I'm going to make sure it works before I do my next webinar. Continual improvement. So you're taking those things that were less than perfect and work to improve them so that you don't have to be imperfect with that in the future. So if you're constantly getting 1% better every day, after 100 days, you've doubled your perfection. Another 100 days, you've doubled it again. So continually work to get better. So when you do this, you're becoming better all the time, and people appreciate that. Number 4, do it anyway. This is a mindset, attitude thing. If you don't know how to do something, do it anyway, and you'll figure out how to do it in the process. I don't know how to create a course. Start doing it anyway. You're going to figure out how to create a course in the process of creating your course. Don't sit around and wait 3 years to learn how to do it. Start doing it immediately. You're scared? Do it anyway. It's amazing how courage improves when you're in the midst of something. Unsure if this is going to work? Do it anyway and figure it out as you go along. Somebody else does it better? Do it anyway. You'll get better in the process. Still learning? Do it anyway. You'll learn in the process. My mom used to always teach me the as-if principle. People come to me all the time and they say, Don, how is it that you're so confident? Well, my mom at a very early age taught me the as-if principle. It goes like this. Act as if you were the person that you want to be. Not confident, act as if you're confident. Not scared, act as if you're not scared. You just keep doing this over and over again, and what ends up happening is you become the person that you want to be. Recognize that people are human. They will respect your humanity. With a few exceptions. There are some trolls in the world. Those who don't, they're not your people. And I strongly suggest that you don't want them and that you should avoid them. So if you go back and you look at the world, go back to middle school, look at the popular group that you wanted to be part of, and there's a really good probability you wanted to be part of it, but you never were part of it. And there was this thing there that said everybody should want to be part of that group. And somehow we still bring that into our world as adults, where we say, okay, that group, the ones that had the perfect coughed, speaking of imperfection, I can't even say the word COIFFED. Somebody teach me how to pronounce that. They have the perfect hair. They've got the perfect boyfriend. They've got the perfect look, clothing all the time and everything. And we learned at that time that that's the way we should be. That's not the way we should be. You don't have to be perfect. Do the best you can. Don't fret. Act as if. Do it anyway. And you'll eventually become the person you want to be. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.